guys, I'm just going to talk about what I pack when I go on a photo shoot that's outdoors. I've done a number of outdoor photo shoots now, just since, well, a lot of them were with American Girl dolls before I got my dolls, and then I also did a couple of photo shoots with my own dolls over the past couple of months. And I'm certainly no expert, but I thought that as I learned some of the tricks, I would share them with you guys so that you don't have to go through the same kind of trial and error that I've been having to go through, or maybe you will, but you'll just go through different trials and errors than I did. So I really encourage you guys to share any tips or any little things that you guys bring with you or pack in your bag to make doll photography easier. So this is a fantastic bag that I got. Actually, I got it from my mom. I have a lug bag a lot like this. It's a tiny bit smaller and it's green, and I wanted to bring it to New York when I went, and it was dingy and it didn't look like it was going to get clean. So my mom bought me this, which is really nice. It ended up that my lug bag did get clean, but I brought this anyways. And I brought it on a couple of trips, and it's great because it's really big. You can hold lots of stuff in it. It goes across your shoulder. You can make the strap short so it goes just over one shoulder, or you can make it long so it goes across your body. I like it wearing it across my body. So this is one of those bags that has a water bottle holder. I don't use a water bottle holder. I use this kind of a water bottle that has a little clip, and so I just clip my water bottle onto here. But it does have this water bottle place, and so what I use that for is my Gorilla Pod. Now, I don't know if you guys know what a Gorilla Pod is, but it is this really awesome heavy-duty tripod that your camera just attaches to right there, and you can attach this to anything. Like you could put it in a tree and wrap it around the trunk and have this kind of giving you some stability to point it up or down. You can use this in a lot of different ways, and it's really grippy and steady, and you can make it kind of like bend. You can bend down all the legs to make it really short and then have this leg up so that the camera's pointing. You can do all kinds of different things with this. So this is called a Gorilla Pod, and the company that makes it is called, maybe you pronounce that Joby, and you can get this at any photography store and maybe other stores like Future Shop and that sort of thing, but it's really handy to have. I use it on indoor photography too. So I just keep this in here because it's a handy place to have it, and it's not, that way it won't take up room inside of my bag because I've got other things inside of my bag. Okay, so I'll tell you what I keep inside of the inside pocket first. So this is a nice spacious area. I keep some bubble wrap, but really it's not the bubble wrap that matters to me. It's the fact that it's plastic because it's wet here. It's winter in Canada right now, and if I want to kind of put my doll down while I'm working with her, I just want something that I can put her on that is not, she's not going to get wet and soaked and dirty and stuff. So I carry this. It's also, if I were kind of sinking her down in the snow, I would probably rip off a piece of this and kind of like push her feet down like that so that this just kept her feet from getting soaked, and you wouldn't be able to see it because the snow would be covering it. So I keep some of that, and I keep this Photo Basics 5-in-1 reflector, and this is something that I got for my birthday this year. My husband gave it to me. He's a photographer, and he has a big, huge one of these, and this is the perfect size for doll photography because look at how small it is. It's just the perfect size, and so you use this to, it just catches the light. As you can see, it's catching the light here, and it just shines. It shines a reflection onto the doll's face, or sometimes you can shine a reflection onto the back of the doll's hair just to kind of give it that outline look. So this is really handy to have, and I don't carry a stand with me. Like you can hook this up to a light stand, but I just don't want to carry something like that around, so I just use it as it is, and I might prop it up against something. Oh, you can also use it to block out the sunlight when the sunlight is really harsh. You could use the black side, or you can also open it up, and inside it's like a see-through, I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see that that's see-through. Inside, like you can pull this all the way off, and the inside is a like a see-through, it just diffuses the light. So it lets the sunlight go through, but not quite so harsh. And so I had to use this a lot for my Let Her Go video because the sunlight was really, really harsh that day and I wasn't getting the softness in the photos that I was really looking for. So that really helped with that. So I think I was starting to say that I don't use a stand when I use this. What I do is I will, I'll either kind of prop it up against a tree or a branch or something, or I might just kind of lay it between me and the doll and have it kind of bounce some light onto the doll's face, with the doll being here and me being here, the reflector kind of going like that. And you know, I'm taking my camera would be up here shooting at the doll's face, and so you wouldn't see the reflector in the shot. So that's a handy piece of equipment to have, and they're not terribly expensive, I don't think. So that. I do keep an extra piece of bubble wrap just in case I use the other one. And I just keep a cloth here, and it's handy to have just, you know, if I get something on her face or if I just kind of, I don't know, it's handy to have, and I just replace it. If I use it, I'll replace it with another one so that it's always clean. And then there's some compartments in here that I really don't use, so I just basically use the main spot of this. But in the little pocket, I have a couple of paper towels just in case I need them. It might be handy to have a little Ziploc bag with some baby wipes in it too, just in case you need to wipe something up. That's a note to myself for the next time I pack this bag. I'll stick some baby wipes in there. So that's what goes in the inside of my bag. That's what's on the outside. And then you'll see there's this inner pocket here. And what I do with this is I keep my tools in here. So I have a pair of scissors just in case I need them. Sometimes flyaway hairs need to be trimmed up if you can't get them to, like, just a single hair that's all like scraggly or whatever. Sometimes I need to trim it up before I take the photo. This is the eyedropper that I use along with my water bottle for putting a tear on Suri's cheek. And this is just a craft supply. I bought it at a scrapbooking company, but you could probably get them in a lot of different places, I guess. Maybe at the drugstore. And then these are some just cheap clamps that I got in a tool set that I have. Like, they're just plastic, they're not metal or anything, but they really do the trick, and they've got these little things on them. I haven't had a chance to use these yet, but they're great for, you know, just holding up to things, like if you want to stick someplace, or, you know, even, I'm not entirely sure what I would use them for, but I'm just sticking them in here because they're little and it's good to have them in case I ever need them. I found there were a lot of times when I was doing photo shoots in the woods where I wanted something to be vertical when it was horizontal, and so using these to hold things together and to just kind of make your background look the way that you want it to look. I think those will be handy for that. So I have those, and then my very front pocket is where I keep all of my posing supplies. So I have a whole bunch of stuff in here. So I have some Obitsu hands. I have gripping hands and pointing hands and fists. And I just keep them in this Ziploc bag so they don't get lost. And then I have some sticky tack in case I just need, sometimes it's good to put a tiny bit of this on the bottom of their shoes to have them standing up, or, you know, just to keep two things layered over top of one another in a certain way. This washi tape it's like masking tape. It's a scrapbooking supply, but it's like a very low tack tape, and so you could tape two things together and then take them apart and it's not going to leave any sticky residue. And it's I have a whole lot of it because I'm a scrapbooker, so it's not a supply that I'm going to mind using a whole lot of. So, you know, like I might even take a whole bunch of it and wrap it all the way around a tree to hold something in place or something, just or, you know, if her skirt isn't quite sitting the right way, I might rip off a length of it and kind of over loop it and then put the fabric the way I want it and stick it in place like that, just so that it's gonna hang right for the photo. Also, this is really good for dressing your dolls. If you're if you don't want to take out their hands, I have a couple of pull-up dolls with their original pull-up bodies and I can't get their hands out. I know their hands are supposed to come out because my other ones do. But when you're dressing them into really tight sleeves, their little fingers get stuck on the threads inside of the sleeves, especially with Barbie clothes because they've got those messy seams with all the strands of thread and stuff. What I do is I wrap, I'll grab a doll and show you. When I'm dressing my doll, I will just wrap a piece of washi tape right around her hand like that. I don't need that quite that much, but you know, you just need a little tiny bit, and then it pokes through really easily, and it doesn't, those little fingers don't get hooked on anything. It comes off super easy, and then you just throw it away. So that's another tip for using washi tape with your dolls. So washi tape is a great tool to have with you. I have some chopsticks, which I haven't used yet, but I read this as a tip online that when you're trying to stand a doll in the dirt or anywhere outside, what you can do is, and if you don't want to use a stand, is you can put a chopstick or a skewer or something right up inside of her dress like that, and then kind of like that, right? And then stick that in the dirt. And depending on how you pose her, you won't be able to see that, or maybe you could easily Photoshop that out, depending on the situation. So I have some chopsticks. I just keep them in here, they haven't been used yet. And I have some twist ties, just again, it's kind of like clamps if I need to hold back a branch out of my frame. So a lot of times, you know, you're taking a picture of your doll and there's all these crisscrosses of branches. You can just take it and twist tie it out of your frame, and then you're not needing to, you know, break off branches and you know, kill trees and stuff in order to take pictures. I keep a little Ziploc baggie with these little clear elastic bands, and these they're just hair elastics for humans, and I used to keep a lot more, but obviously you lose them as you go because they're see-through, so if you drop it on the ground, good luck finding it. But they come in a big package, I just need to get some more. So they're great for attaching things to your doll's hands. You just kind of wrap it around and then put it in her hand, and it holds it in place for little props and stuff. And they're clear, so you don't really have to worry about them showing up in a photo. And then I keep some dental floss, which is good for, again, like tying things back out of your way. Maybe even you could like tie a doll to something in order to keep her propped up. It's just thin, so it's, and then I keep a bunch of these, and these are too short for propping the doll up, but I just have them anyway. They were with the chopsticks, and I thought I'm gonna grab some of those just in case I ever need them for something, so they just sit in the bottom of my bag. So those are all of the props that I bring, and I usually grab a doll stand too and put it in my bag, but I've never had to use a doll stand outside, and I don't have great Photoshop skills, so I would rather not use a doll stand if I don't have to. So that's how I pack my bag. And then the only other thing that I do, as I mentioned, is I do bring water, because if you're gonna be doing doll photography, it involves a lot of crouching and crawling on the ground and getting yourself into crazy poses too in order to get like the sun at the right angle shining on her, or you know, that sort of thing. And really make sure that you hydrate yourself when you're out there, because it's kind of like doing an hour of yoga. Like, it's very similar. My body feels the same way after doing a photo shoot outdoors as it does after doing yoga. So make sure you hydrate yourself. That's important. And then the only other tip I was going to tell you is that this is a really cool camera strap. And it's a it's a fancy one for photographers. It's made by a company called Black Rapid, and this one is especially made for women. So the men's ones has like, they just go on an angle, but women's has a little curve so that it goes through your bust and kind of like wraps around your breast instead of like harshly cutting across your breast. So anyways, what you do is you wear this over your shoulder, and kind of across your body like this. So your body would be in here, and then your camera is hanging down here on your hip. So imagine your body is in here, and that's your hip, and that's your other side of your body. So what to do is your camera kind of hangs at your side, and you just kind of grab it when you want to take a picture. Take the picture, so see how it slides up and down this strap that goes across the front of your stomach. And by the time it's up here, it's right at your head. And well, I mean, you know, you kind of pull it up like that, and then you take your picture, and then you can actually drop your camera if you wanted to, because it just kind of, it's really stable. And so you can just drop your camera like that, and it just goes down to your hip. And then whenever you need to take a picture, you lift it up, take the picture, and drop it. The other good thing about this is that you can, then you can also move this. This is like a lock, and then you can push this right onto your back, and then your camera is out of your way. I can't really demonstrate it properly here, but I bet that if you went to blackrapid.com, they probably have some videos that, or at least pictures that show one of these in use. But it's really, really handy to have because it allows you to be hands-free and still have your camera right there, and not getting in your way. Like I find when I dangle my camera in front of me, like around my neck on my chest, and I lean over to take a doll pic, that like the camera smashes into things and it jiggles all around. But this, when I'm posing my doll, I just stick it on my, kind of high on my lower back, and I lock it into place with this strap right here. Keep it on my lower back while I'm arranging my doll, and then I just reach back, open this, and bring it up to here, and then I can grab my camera and bring it up. And even, I mean, sometimes I even just grab it without unlocking it because the strap is pretty loose, and you can do that too. So it's a Black Rapid strap, and it's really handy. And the way that it attaches to your camera is it just screws into the tripod thing like that. And you don't have to unscrew it to take your camera off of the strap. So like I just always leave this thing attached. It's hard to get on, hang on. So I just always leave this attached, and then if you want to take your camera off of it, you just twist this down, and then it comes off like that. So this is how I usually have my camera around my house. It means it doesn't lay flat, but it lays sort of flat, just like that. So those are just some tips on the kinds of things I bring with me on an outdoor photo shoot and the kind of gear I have. If you guys have any tips for me, anything that I don't have in my bag that I definitely need to have in my bag, or things that you think are helpful for posing dolls and holding them up and that sort of thing, I would really appreciate if you leave me a comment, because I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and I'd love to hear from you. So take care, everybody.